Hey you, before the video starts, consider dropping a like, a comment, and maybe consider subscribing. This really does help the channel grow. On to the video. Hey guys, it's Main here, backing you with another account review. You may notice I'm off camera and there's no Twitch chat or anything. I am doing this one off stream just to help myself kind of get ahead of the schedule because there's a lot of reviews I need to do in the next coming days. Also a lot of content for me to do, so I just want to kind of clear my schedule, do some account reviews off stream. Hope you guys understand. Anyways, it helps also let me do some more structured reviews without having to worry about reading Twitch chat and notifications and all that fun jazz. So anyways, let's head into it. Today I'm reviewing Panda's account. Panda actually redeemed channel points, and this is how we got the account to review. And so we're just doing this. So let's see kind of where Panda is roughly. Probably World 6. Yep. Lots of World 6 kills. Roughly 100k on Glunko. Decent mini boss kills. Biggest thing I see people kind of miss is Dr. Deficus because it is a daily spawn. Some of the mini bosses are often forgotten about. Hell, I even forget about them. Sorry about that. I would highly recommend, if you really want to min-max and take your account to the next level, do remember that your daily mini-bosses, the ones that do spawn daily, like Dr. Deficus, Baba Yaga, hell, even Glunko, to kill them at least once every single day because they are on a 24-hour timer. Well, kind of. Baba Yaga's on a 24-hour timer. Dr. Deficus is on a daily reset timer, and Glunko respawns obviously every 20 minutes. Just to get more Death Note kills, also remember to equip Bone Joe Pickles on whatever character if you are trying to do this solely for Bone Joe Pickle gain, which honestly for some of the earlier mini bosses it's kind of what you want to do. I would just recommend going on to Siegebreaker because it tends to have the highest damage thanks to the movement speed scaling with Quick Slap and also the talents that help give damage, or you can go on DK depending how high your Refinery is, because those are obviously really good easy ways to scale your damage, and that's what I kind of recommend the classes to do your Bone Joe Pickle grinds on, because they tend to have the more damage out of any of the other classes. So if you're trying to farm mini bosses, doing it on Siegebreaker is better because of Onyx statue, thanks to movement speed here, the Dragon Warrior statue, how movement speed scales specifically in the Archer classes because they have statue doublers themselves. You see his characters Short Joke and Missing and Nokia all have more statue effect because those are probably his Archer type classes. And there is a talent in the talent page specific to this one here, Swifty Statues. It gives increase bonuses to speed, anvil, and reliable. Speed obviously being movement speed, anvil being production speed, reliable being the catching nodes, I believe. So you get more catching efficiency from there. And honestly, that statue itself is honestly really, really powerful for helping getting you higher catching prints. Statues are one of many ways to scale skill effect, and I've talked about this at length through my Dragon Warrior rant video, but the mining power you get from the statue is incomparable to literally any other source in the game. It is so strong, especially when you take into account the talent that scales that. You have 9,000 mining power on a warrior type class versus 4,900 on your other classes. So statues are really powerful, and also when you take into account that your tools themselves as a base only give you 118. Obviously there's ways to scale this with the bubbles, for example, that's even higher than 118, but you guys kind of get what I'm saying, that these statues are really, really strong, and they constitute a lot of scaling efficiency, base skill efficiency, essentially, for your prints to scale even higher. Obviously, this will multiply with skill efficiency sources you see in the whole, and more generically, also summoning also gives a multiplier to skill efficiency, but I'm kind of getting off on a tangent. This initially started because I was talking about mini bosses. Anyways, let's just go back to the base World 1 part of his account and take a look. Stamp levels at 16,500, decent, kind of approaching the territory, no stamp left behind to kind of take you and carry you into the next zone of stamp leveling, but now with the increase of more bags, more carry capacity thanks to exalted stamps, there's a lot more stamps you can naturally get up to higher levels now, depending how much money gain you have. Depends if you have those bags and those characters, you can get stamps to a higher level, even if you're at 16,500 stamp level. There are stamps you see here that are upgradable. For example, the Anvil Zoomer stamp, which to be honest, in terms of anvil production speed, is not the best way to scale your anvil production speed, but there's other stamps you can go out and upgrade a little bit easier now because the increased bag capacity in your characters, but also just general carry capacity. So Cool Dicky stamp, this one only takes, with the cost reduction you currently have, it only takes 23 of these hatchets. It does cost 9 arboreal coins or whatever to get up, so money starts to become a little bit of a problem for these. And obviously getting up to 330 costs Eclipse coin, which I believe you have. Eclipse coins are a little bit easier as you progress into World 6 to get, especially now because of just generic increases thanks to the vault. It gives you a ton more money percent. Windwalker also has a talent for money multiplication, so money is less of a problem, especially for early game players in trying to upgrade stamp cost and trying to buy the kitchens in World 4 or whatever early game money sink that there is, or buying stuff in the World 6 shop, for example. So just be cognizant of, there it is again, I love that word. Someone mentioned I use that word a lot and now I'm self-conscious about it, so I try self-conscious I try to be cognizant of the fact I'm saying cognizant a lot. Anyways, tangent aside, just be mindful that there are stamps out there that you once thought were impossible to level, but now are more possible thanks to the increased carrying capacity. Especially you've exalted Mason Jar stamp. You should be able to upgrade a lot of these stamps a little bit higher. So take, for example, stamps like Ladle stamp. Your character Pebble has a 2.5 billion carry capacity. Yes, you technically have a storage capacity max of 1050 mil, because that's technically the cap for items in the game, but you can temporarily bypass that in your storage by candying those resources and putting them in your storage. Or alternatively, you can create a separate stack first, so that your 3D printer will affect it. I don't know how else to explain that, but I guess I'll try to explain it here. So for example, if I take the 47 mil gold ore that I have here, and I split it, take a stack of 1 and put it before that 47 mil, if I was printing gold ore, my printer proc would proc on this 1 stack here. It would not proc on the 47 mil. So if I wanted to do it this way, I would just need to make 2 stacks in my inventory, wait for my 3D printer to proc, move the stack back, let it hit this one, and now I have 2 1 billion stacks, and it will stay that way. The only way stacks disappear in your storage and turn into atoms is if you have 1 stack of something. So if you have 2 stacks of something, you technically are able to bypass that decimator, the storage capacity decimation. So I'm gonna make this a little more full screen so you guys can kind of see, but you are able to temporarily bypass the atom slicing of your resources by making multiple stacks of something. And this is how end gamers kind of abuse certain talents. I say abuse, but it's a mechanic in the game, so it's not really abuse. But for example, this talent right here, this mining efficiency is increased by X% per every power of 10 of copper ore in your storage. Sometimes you'll see end gamers, before they go print, they'll take a stack of copper ore, or like 1, and then put it before the big stack that they have, let their 3D printer proc, and now you have 2 1 billion stacks, which means you have 2 1 billion stacks here in your storage. In fact, if I were to I can kind of demonstrate this on stream, because I'm on my warrior class right now, just farming board beans because I'm looking to reprint soon. Anyways, so if I guess I'll just do a mini game and fail here, so I get a bunch of ore and stuff. Yeah, about 6 billion ore dropped. So you see here. Boom. Okay, well that's a lot. Deposit. I guess I'll take 3 billion back. There's just so much storage capacity in this game, and I don't even. Anyways, but obviously a lot of these stacks are going to go bye-bye pretty soon. Yep. I don't even know how many stacks this is. Just want to demonstrate how to kind of go about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, one more. Okay. Deposit and deposit. Okay, and then if I leave the zone, it'll force the storage to refresh and go through, atom collider rules. So it'll decimate all of those stacks back to 1050. So it forces it by either leaving the zone, going to gem shop, or having your 3D printer proc if it's printing that resource. I kind of cover this a little bit in the atom collider video, but you can have multiple 1 billion stacks of an item in your inventory. And for the purposes of this talent, there you go. You see now I have 11 billion copper stored. So if you want a little bit of mining efficiency, if you really want to min-max that for when you go print, this is something you can do provided you have those 10 storage spaces. But in terms of mining efficiency, it's not really that effective anymore because I don't truly know where this stacks up in the calculations for mining efficiency. I don't know if this is going to be additive to monument bonuses, which if you're an end gamer, this honestly isn't even something you really need to worry about, because what is 361% compared to the what am I at, like 15,000% mining efficiency that I have through 61,000% mining efficiency that I have through here. So if it stacks up like that, I guess snapshots. Interesting. Also, it's only like an extra 20%. So, whatever. Little min-maxy things like that help with your prints, but you don't really need to do that. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, carry capacity. So talking about, that if you want to bypass the 1050 1 billion, I'll just say 1 billion stack in your storage, that's something you can do just to help you out, and leveling up your stamps is something you want to do. I guess now is kind of a good thing, good transition to talk about just skilling efficiency and seeing where your prints are. So I see 100 billion here, 214 billion here. Your gold relic is at 2.75, so you've reprinted probably the last few weeks or so. I honestly can't remember, but I believe that sounds right. So I think, since you're at this stage of the end game, my big recommendation and focus as always is going to come back to skill efficiency, because atoms are becoming more and more important as we progress, as more updates come out. So if you want to keep up or kind of prepare for the future, a safe way to do that is going to be through Atom Collider, because the Windwalker update alone added 20 extra levels to atoms. So that includes helium, that includes fluoride, that includes neon. Every single atom got 20 extra max levels. Up to 20. Realistically, 15 is a really good stopping point for people who really want to push Windwalker. I think even before that, I think 10 is a good stopping point, to be completely honest with you. But there's Atom somewhere. Atomic potential. Yeah. So, it costs a bunch of stardust. It takes like billions to trillions to get up to the 15 levels. So it takes a lot of grinding for you to be able to really get up to the even plus 10. Hell, even plus 15 is just really outside the range of possibility for a lot of more casual end gamers, I guess you could say. There's a lot of tiers of end game and Idleon. I usually throw out, if you're at the end of like World 6, you're basically there. You're end game. You really don't need to worry about the base mechanics of Idleon anymore. I just lump you guys all into one group, because once you pass Samurai Guardians, there's realistically no reason for you to be playing Idleon anymore except to prepare for future updates. So I will delve into these very end game niche topics that not a lot of people are going to relate to, but if you want to delve really into the end game, like sweaty mechanics and preparing for future updates, this is kind of what you need to do. So I'm talking about topics that not a lot of people want to do, but if you, for whatever reason, are trying to push tone points, are trying to like compare yourself to endgame people, this is kind of what you need to do. Anyways, tangent aside, atomic potential to 10 is something you may want to consider doing. So doing a little bit more Windwalker grinding. While you're doing Windwalker grinding, obviously shiny pets and breedability come to mind. Something we discovered on stream last week. I realize this video is coming out on the week of the 26th or something. So, on the 17th, May 17th, I did a stream and we found out that Mega Crit actually works on Windwalker abilities if you have a bow equipped. If you have your fists out, like no weapon equipped, just barehanded, raw dogging the enemies, you can Mega Crit. Obviously, your damage is going to suck. But if you equip a bow, the only way for you to Mega Crit is on your abilities. So there is a reason to still push breedability on your pets, even if you're already at 100% crit on your Windwalker. So pushing shiny pets, or rather, sorry, your breedability pets up to level 7, there is a reason to do that. Now, where you are right now, I don't suggest pushing pets to 7. I think 6 is going to be completely fine. 7 is a little out of your realm of possibility, because if you put one pet in your fence yard for breedability, it's going to take roughly 289 days. That's because your breedability multi is like really, really low, lower than I've seen. I would suggest doing the 7 grind. The ways you would get that up are going to be through your meals. So if your meals are not level 110, the eggplant meal specifically is the one I'm talking about when it comes to breedability. That'll give you a ton, and I mean a ton of breedability speed. I want to say like 10 times your breedability speed. So, this grind takes a lot less time for me. For you, I think you need to put some more time and effort into leveling up your meal, putting a higher ribbon on your eggplant meal, and also focusing a lot on your crops, because 36.67 is nice, but you can definitely get that up even further. I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, you are 195. Okay, that's probably why. The difference between 195 and where I'm at is 216 or 217 crops is quite significant, because your pet rate is 3600, 3700, where I'm at is higher than that. Obviously, there's also a way to scale this with Deathbringer. The Grimoire has a crop scientist pencil, so you can sorry, not crop scientist pencil, but it has a scaler for crop scientist pencil, so you can get more and more pet rate, which applies to shiny pets as well as breedability speed. Anyways, what was I looking at? I was looking at here's my shiny multi. Here's my breedability multi. So I'm higher than 10 times yours, but my crop bonus here is 46.25. If I go to my farming, I have 4,630% pet rate. You have 3,600. So I have 1,000% more. Part of that comes with Deathbringer. Part of that comes with just having more crops than you. And you also would benefit from more meal speed, which I imagine cooking is something you haven't maxed out yet. Okay. So, I mean, the more crops you find is going to help you complete more and more meals to 110. You have a food lust here. It's completely fine to have food lust. I mean, people knock food lust as being bad. It's not that terrible. I just wouldn't recommend putting more than 1, 2, maybe even 3 points into it, because, no meal left behind exists. You don't need to rely on ladles really to finish your meals, but you can definitely get some meals up to 110. I would recommend some meals over others to prioritize first. Primarily, if you're looking for cooking speed, cabbage is a fantastic one. It gives a lot of meal cooking speed. It's a great one to try to get to 110 first. Obviously, getting it to 110 takes a lot of cooking speed to do, but I would argue it is more realistic now to do that. And keep in mind, you can only level this up once with Food Lust. It's actually 216,000 ladles. There's a lot more meal cooking speed available in the game now because of Atom Collider, because of fluoride. You have +6 max levels, so you have fluoride at 36. You're missing probably a few more things in meal cooking speed, which farming plays into that, and you're probably also missing a few levels of Diamond Chef. If I were to take a guess, 952 feels kind of low. I realize Toolbox says it's 98.7% here, but this bubble still keeps scaling the more and more points you put into it. For me, I put this at 2,000. 2,000 was a good stopping point, where I said that's good enough cooking speed. I have all 110 meals thanks to No Me Left Behind, some gold stopwatch usage, and high level fluoride and crops and all these different scalers. But do keep in mind, the more and more levels you put into your meals, the higher your blood marrow talent from Void Walker is going to come into play, which means you get more meal cooking speed, which means, I just realized it's a miscalculation on your cabbage, but getting to 110 is probably going to take less than 216,000, 118,000 without any food lust bonuses. But yeah, the more meal levels you get, the more meal cooking speed you get, which means you can level up meals a little bit faster and they take a little bit less ladles to use. But that being said, cabbage is one of the better meals to upgrade because it gives you more and more meal cooking speed compared to things like corn dog, for example, or egg, which give you like a flat 4,600. But the 4,700% you see here is across every single kitchen. 10 upgrades give you 4,700. Just think about how massive this is because of how many levels your kitchens have. I'll just leave it out there. Cabbage is insanely powerful. It's the best meal cooking speed meal in the game. I think it even beats out burned marshmallow. Just strictly with how much meal cooking speed it provides. Okay. I mean, I glossed over your bubbles, so I'll take a quick look at your bubbles and see what I suggest. I mean, up to you. If you want to push higher bubble levels, I think the most realistic way for you to do that is going to be through candy clicking. If anything, if you do go down the route of candy clicking, I would recommend doing Larry, probably another 1,000, 2,000 levels, which sounds daunting, but for you, it's not that daunting. It probably takes a couple handfuls of candies for you to be able to get there. Because I mean, your prints are for copper ore in like the hundreds of billions, so I imagine your dementia is probably in like the tens range. So it's realistic for you to, you know, get those 20, 30 levels per candy, depending how high your print is. 15 billion, 30 billion here. Yeah, I mean, with like 30 billion dementia ore, I mean, you could get, so every candy you use is realistically 30, 35 levels, 35 bubble clicks, which means it's a minimum 70 levels for you, potentially up to, what's 35 times 3? 90, 105 or something like that, 105 levels of Larry every single 1 hour time candy you use. So, you know, using like 3-4 candies at a time, because you eventually run into liquid problems. You need a lot of liquid to candy click. So you could potentially blow through like hundreds of hours of candies to level up Larry a couple thousand levels to increase your chance of getting more effectiveness out of your clicks, so you can level up other bubbles. What other bubbles would I recommend leveling up? I mean, name I guess for one, it's a base damage bubble, so this really helps your damage a ton, especially on your mage type classes, because this scales well with mage's best, but this gives you a ton of base damage regardless of which character you use it on. And it's also an ore. It takes a lot less skill efficiency, or rather, you know, effort, compared to things like Big Meaty Claws and Quick Slap, which are both monster resources, which notoriously have really bad hourly rates because there's not like mob efficiency, but there's skill efficiency. So, you know, that's why name I guess I think is the better one to candy click. I mean, you could, I'm not even going to suggest it. Don't even worry about that. Anyways, let's see. What else? Anything really? So, I mean, if you're wondering what to candy click, if it is a resource that you can 3D print, that is, you know, a skilling resource that you can 3D print, you can candy click it. So if you're ever wondering what someone's candy clicking, I can almost guarantee you Roid Raging, Hardy Diggy, Strong Tools, FMJ, potentially Penny of Strength. I mean, starting to get into less and less stuff in that bubble. Swift Steppin', I mentioned that, I think. Hammer, it's a great one. Little big damage just to get this to 1500, so it can't get hit by no bubble left behind. Anvilnomic, same thing, just so this doesn't get hit by no bubble left behind, to 1500, that is. Bug Squared, same thing, no bubble left behind. Chaccuracy, same thing, no bubble left behind. Also, I guess for the hound, the dog den, you know, you need accuracy. This is a great one to candy click as well. Bojack, this is really easy. Not really candy clicking per se. I mean, you could candy click it because you get like worship charge and stuff, but using Soloable Gum, getting a whole lot of efficiency, boost food effect rather, and using your soul charge to get a lot of levels of Bojack. This is a really easy one. You don't even need to candy click this. Honestly, you just equip Soloable Gum or whatever character has worship charge, and you just deposit all to storage, and you have like trillions, probably like hundreds of billions of clicks into this. Like if I were to do it, I commonly show this because this is like ridiculous how much boost food effect we have now in the game. Reorganize my stash. I need to find out where my Soloable Gum is. There it is. Sure. And here we go. So, I mean, no, sorry. So just for reference, this is currently level 9,000. Boom, I use all quick. My game lags because of how much goes. And I have 1 trillion right there. And I just, you know, click and hold. And there you go. I feel like the only levels I've gotten off this bubble is because I've done this as an example so many times in account reviews. It's just, these are like really easy bubble levels. Yes, the damage itself is really low, but I think getting this bubble to 1500 is not that hard of an ask with how much like food, like boost food effect we've gotten through the statue, but also through Onyx statues and also through the Dragon Warrior statue. This bubble, if anything, is like really, really easy to get up to 1500 just to get it out of the range of getting no bubble left behind it. Because I mean, it's nearing that realm of possibility, and it just feels like a waste of a daily reset, essentially. Outside of that, Fast Boy talent, this is something you could also candy click. I mean, you need to focus heavily on catching efficiency and like the Justice Monument to catch this up, or you know, doing some Onyx statue grinding with the old Reliable statue as well is a great one. What other bubbles can you candy click? Fly and Mine, you're starting to get into territory where catching prints just are really bad, and it's not that good. Slabo Critterbug is also a good one to candy click. And yeah, we're starting to hit World 6 resources there. Stable Genius is a great one. Let's see. Name I guess we already talked about. The Brain Tools is a good one. All for Kill, this is something you want to get to no bubble left behind range. Gospel Leader, this is something you could candy click. Same thing, Purple Bargain. This is a really easy soul bubble to get up to 1500. Nicola Wisdom is a great one to get up even higher with candy clicking as well. Severe Purple, candy click. Tree Sleeper, this starts to wean off an effectiveness of Worship Charge, being that scalable with Soulable Gum, but this is something you could consider using your Worship Charge on to get higher levels of, because chopping AFK gain rates, this is decent for helping increase your skill prints with chopping. Hyper Swift, it takes a lot of fishing efficiency really to get here, but this is something you could do. Matrix is Evolved, that's something you could do. Slave Log Soul, I mean, you're starting to hit territory where you can't really do that. And then we'll move into, I guess, the Yellow Cauldron, because they're starting to hit World 6 resources there. While you're candy clicking, if you choose your production to strictly thread, this is something you could, as a byproduct of you candy clicking, start to level up a little bit more. Obviously, it's really hard to, because it takes a lot, and I mean a lot of anvil speed. But if you do candy click hammer, this becomes more and more realistic to candy click, I guess. Just, as a byproduct, not the main focus of your clicking. This is something you could get up there. Dropping Loads, this is also something you can candy click. Let's see, what else? Prowess Area, again, getting this up to 1500. No bubble left behind range. Stamp Tramp, again, 1500. Undeveloped Cost, again, want this for 1500. Larry, again, very good recommendation. Sample It as a Worship Charge. Ignore Overdues, again, is a really good one. What else? This is Bit by Bit is also a good one to get up to, at least to 1500 for the, you get a little bit extra bit gain, which, in the grand scheme of bit gain, it's not like the most, highest increase you could get, but it's something you can consider. So, I mean, as a very rough tier list, that's really something those are like the bubbles I would recommend. Just, as a general rule, if your skill efficiency is in the hundreds of billions for copper ore and logs, you're probably in a very safe range to candy click just about any bubble in the game. When you start to head into World 4, World 5 resources, it takes a lot more skill efficiency to get those. So if you're getting less than 5 billion, I probably wouldn't recommend candy clicking it, to be completely honest with you. I would probably save it for when you get more skill efficiency. For the ores specifically, you can obviously upgrade things like Hardy Diggy, Strong Tools to up your skill efficiency a little bit more, to get you to a point where you could candy click some of those resources to help you kind of down the line do more candy clicking. I don't know. Candy clicking is something I'm on the fence about recommending, truthfully, because it's on the one hand very sweaty, but it also is really easy, fast progress for someone who's endgame, compared to hourly clicking, for example. Okay, Equinox, I would not do Food Lust. I would rather put that into Metal Detector. You have 26 Slow Roast Whiz. I want to see your worship. We got a meme on you. Okay, 190, 160, 170, 170. Not terrible. For someone with max level Slow Roast Whiz, I'd expect them to be higher, because I have 220 on Goblin Gore Fest. I don't know. I mean, I haven't done tower defense in so long. But I don't know. I thought that was funny. I'm not harping you for your tower defense progress. It's good. Don't worry about me. Okay. If of all the things I suggest here, I think doing refinery and being more active in your refinery and trying to level them up into the thousands of levels, and yes, I'm talking about all of your refinery, at least the first page to the thousands of levels. The reason I recommend that is not only for DK damage, so you can like Bonejo Pickle stack more or just have high number, big funny number, but also so you can get those vials up to level 13. Those vials are like the real end game grind. You need to get these refinery ranks up into the thousands of levels to even consider getting this to level 13. Because I'm at like 1500 red salt myself, and leaving it on 10% auto refine for weeks only netted me like 600 mil. So I mean, I would highly recommend, if you're trying to finish this vial at level 13, I would try to get your red salt refinery rank up into the thousands of levels before you even consider this. And obviously the more vials you have at 13, the better your vials are going to be. So this is something I would try to undertake, but just know it's going to take literal months, even years, for you to really get to a point to consider getting this to 13, or rather even this to 13. I mean, probably not years I'm being over dramatic. It really just depends how often you check your refinery, how often you proc Omnifal, to really try to get this up to 13, how optimal you're with your Squire refinery cycles, for example. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but getting this to 13 just takes a lot more time, and it's very time gated. I would recommend getting on the grind sooner rather than later. I guess talking about refinery, I would be kind of negligent to not talk about building and construction, because the more buildings you have leveled, the more construction speed you get, but also more refinery speed you get. Construction mastery in the Rift scales off the total amount of building levels you've done. So the 102 here, the 10 here, the 10 here, 25, 60, 51, 5, 56, 18, 70, 70. All these add together for your construction levels. Not like EXP levels, but like your construction building levels to help you scale your refinery speed and build speed. So the more you level these up, the more refinery speed you get, the more build rate you get. And, going back to refinery, that's one way you can scale that to really help level up your salts to be even higher and higher level. And I love seeing those shrines at 200. That's perfect. Whether you want to undertake primordial shrines, completely up to you. The way people have completed this is honestly, they just wasted hundreds of candies to get the black lenses needed. It's 1.42 million. If you have less than like 70x drop rate, I wouldn't consider really using your candies. I'd rather you save them up for the next time like the Shrine EXP event or a ballot bonus whirls around, because that was really powerful for your candy usage to level up your shrines. If anything, I would maybe consider devoting levels to this, because it could impact leveling up your refinery a bit more. It could help you with more build rate. It's not a terrible use of candy. It's not the best. There's always reasons to save candy, to hoard them for future better uses, but what you do with your candy is completely up to you. And I think everyone would be wrong to tell you that your candy usage is wrong no matter what you're doing. I suppose, unless you're just, I guess there are, use your candies. You have 19,000, you're fine. Don't worry about it. 1,000, like to see that. Construction only 10k. Okay. For bravery sword damage, you really want to focus on levels for your skills. These are decent levels. I see, you have 5,000 seeking, 1,300 summoning, 3,800 farming, 9,800 construction. And by all means, the best way to scale account skill level is going to be construction. So eventually focusing your atoms solely on Call Me Bob is a great way to do that. But also don't forget, man, this is something I don't talk about a lot because I hate it so much, but the construction board actually gives you a ton, and I mean a ton of EXP. And the best way to scale build rate is going to be just sticking your divine knights onto the board, surrounding them with either Zen cogs if you bought them, or not build rate, don't do build rate, player construction EXP. So I don't talk about this a lot because I hate construction. I hate construction so much. There's not a lot of science that goes into building the board. Just know that the best stat for build rate is not build rate, it's EXP. It's player EXP. So bonus construction EXP is what you want to get on your cogs. Do not worry about build rate. Where am I getting all my build rate from? It's my DKs. So they are thousands. And I mean, like, I think, yeah, 2,200 on construction on this character. So this character, main knight, has 7.3 trillion build rate on the board. If I take him off, there goes almost all of my build rate. So all of your build rate is not going to come from cogs. It's going to come from your DKs because they give insane build rate. And how do they do that? It's because of this talent right here, redox rates. This gives a ton of build speed per power of 10 redox salts in your storage chest. Having 2 DKs, I think it only counts one of these talents, for example. So the more red salts you have in your inventory, the more build rate they're going to get. Just also, you know, generally the warrior classes tend to kind of peel away in terms of construction EXP. I guess I think because I don't know, man. Yeah, warrior classes just tend to have more build rate and more EXP. So if you have 2 DKs, this is honestly the reason why 2 DKs is meta. It's because you can stick them on the board and they get a ton of build rate, and they're the best classes to level for just, you know, build rate EXP and all that stuff. Anyways, what I'm talking about here, construction EXP is the best stat on cogs because it'll help your DKs level up faster, which means they can scale their build rate even higher. So that means that build rate as a stat anywhere is not something you want to prioritize. So when you click on this eye here, you only want to level EXP and that's it. When it comes to the directional cogs, you only want to focus on EXP. If I take off the build rate, yes, actually, I was going to say it goes down. I lost like 1 trillion by taking off the 2 directional build rate cogs I have. But in the long term, because construction is such an AFK forgettable skill, the only thing you want to focus on is player construction EXP. There's 2 different stats when it comes to cogs. One, if it's a directional cog, you'll get what's called a multiplicative EXP bonus. So that boosts this entire row. It is multiplicative to whatever else you see gives that bonus. So for example, player construct EXP is multiplicative to bonus construct EXP. It's multiplicative to call me Bob. So what does that mean? It means that these are the best stats because they multiply every single source of construction EXP in the game. You'll see if I take off the 44% player construct EXP, the 101 trillion construct EXP on my character here, main knight, 101 trillion goes down to 98. I lost 3 trillion EXP by just taking off one of these player construct EXP cogs. If I take off this Zen cog, which gives 175% bonus, like 4 times that, it goes from 98 trillion to 91. I lose 7 trillion. Taking off all of these directional cogs, I start losing so much construction EXP. And, you know, because there's Zen cogs, I also get a lot of build rate, you know, whatever. But in the long term, focusing on build rate directional cogs really hampers your progress because you are not leveling up your DKs more. And the more you level up your DK, the more construction speed you'll get, which will help you with build rate. So when endgamers tell you do not focus on build rate, they absolutely mean it. Honestly, I'm trolling by having build rate cogs here. I need to take these off so I can get more construction EXP. Taking these build rate cogs off, I lost 1 trillion compared to if I take off all the EXP cogs, I will not gain any more build rate like at all. I will lose every single scalar I have for construction, which means my bravery is going to start suffering because I start losing out on EXP gains for construction. Anyways, let's move on. I kind of want to head towards the end of the review here, so I want to talk about, you know, just speed through all of the World 5, World 6 stuff and just, you know, leave what I said as just general advice for everyone else out there. Anyways, if anything, I would suggest probably doing a little bit more divinity grind on the Nokia character here, because you're at 15.94. You need another like probably 3 levels of divinity to guarantee the 16 here. Sorry, the 17, because right now you're at plus 16. It rounds up, so 15.94 goes up to 16. If this was 16.01, it would round up to 17. So you're missing 1 extra talent level here by doing a little bit of divinity grinding. So I mean, I would consider going back on your Windwalker and grinding a little bit more for the max levels of your atoms, but also you know, getting more dust and, you know, scaling that stuff. But once you get the extra talent there, you might get a little bit more dust gains. It's going to be very minimal, but getting the extra talent level is going to be very, very useful just generally across your account. So I would recommend doing a little bit more div grinding there. As painful as that is to admit, It's absolutely worth it though. Yeah, you can see here your god bonus here is 16 versus this character. Well, actually, it's probably a bad example because Elemental Sorcerer tends to. There you go. 17 on that character, 16 on this character because they hit that threshold. So do a little bit more div grinding on this character. Probably. Yeah, this character 149, 158. Okay, that's a little extreme. Oh yeah, this is like 10th rank character. So do another like 2-3 levels, you'll probably get there just fine. Okay, and probably last thing I would recommend is doing a little bit more statue grinding. Not talking about DK, not talking about villager, just general statue grinding, like I'm doing here. Just because the more statue levels you get, the better your account bonuses scale. So getting more mining power here, more catching power, more chopping power, all this is going to help your prints, which, as I mentioned, is something you want to consider because you're in the realm of candy clicking. To make your candy clicks more effective, you need to get more skill efficiency, more scaling prints, or, you know, just general more AFK info. You don't even need to reprint. Just getting more skill efficiency to get you into the threshold of like 1 trillion prints is something to aim for. And I think in the coming months is going to be very achievable for you. So Panda, I'll stop the review there. Again, very skill efficiency focused. We talked a lot about candy clicking, for example. So if anything, what I want to impart onto you is try to get your bubbles, at least the World 1, World 3, to like a bare minimum of like 1500 where possible. If those bubbles cost salts, if they cost spices, if they cost, I don't know, anvil production speed, I wouldn't consider getting those up to level 1500. Just, you know, focus on the ones that are very easy skill efficiency prints, like the ores, the logs. Some of the catching nodes as well are very easy to candy click. To help level them up to the 1500, just to save you, you know, efficiency when it comes to no bubble left behind, because that's like I want to say the big thing, I guess now, the big meta as it comes to end gamers it's getting bubbles up to 1500 so that they can't be hit by no bubble left behind. So it hits more important things like the bits bubbles, the, you know, weapon power ones that, you know, you can't add them, for example. So anyways, Panda, I'll stop the review there. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you gather something from that. And for those of you watching on YouTube, please do remember to leave a comment. Do like the video and subscribe as well. Obviously, I'm going to talk about this in the outro. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. I don't even know why I have like a generic outro as I'm talking in the review. Anyways, you're going to hear the same thing in the outro of the video. Have a great day, everyone. I'm going to say that as well in the outro. What am I even saying? I'm just going to end the review here. Bye. Hey guys, I just want to say as a last thing, thank you to all of my Twitch subscribers and YouTube channel members. You guys really help the channel grow and really motivate me to continue making videos. If you guys do also want to support me on YouTube, it's just $1 a month for a channel subscription at the lowest tier. You can choose to give more if you want. Just want to say that. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your support. Have a great day. Bye.